Hello, welcome to another Toronto Ultra Merk and Maven podcast episode. Welcome to the retirement home. It's going to be a bunch of old folks chatting the shit here for an hour or so. Samuel LaRue already been on an episode. It was a banger. It's awesome to have you back on. Obviously, with the recent news, we thought it made a lot of sense. First off, how you doing?
My first stop on the media tour after retirement. You guys were number one.
Oh, let's go. Hey, you're the first person to have 2 appearances as well. So
let's go.
This is a special episode. This is a very special episode, but we appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Oh, Clint's already horny. We're 35 seconds in and Clint's already horny.
He's horny every day, all the time.
You guys aren't wrong. You're doing great though. Okay. So wait, let's just like first, I mean, I want to dive into stuff obviously, but like you recently moved and stuff, right? Like you're getting your life shit handled quick.
Yeah. 4 days after champs, I drove from California to Virginia. It's a 37-hour drive. I did it in 3 days.
How long of a drive?
37. 37. In 3 days. Yeah, I did 12, and then like 15 in that area, 14. But yeah, no, I've been dead set on retiring for a while now. So once champs was over, I was gone. I filmed my retirement video, said bye to everybody, and that was that.
Shake their hands. All right, I'll see you later. I'll pop it in the car.
See you guys. Thanks for hanging out.
I don't want to like assume that everyone maybe watching this is seeing like your video. So just like real high level, we're gonna get into kind of not the aftermath, but kind of the post stuff and chat through a lot of shit. But just like high level, why was now the time for you to call it?
Yeah. Well, I think it was I don't think there was like one event that really like caused everything. I think it was just a culmination of a lot of things. I don't want to shit talk the game, but the games aren't getting better for one.
You can do that. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't find myself enjoying the games nearly as much as I used to. And once I stopped enjoying them, it became more of a job than like a passion of mine. Obviously I love competing and I love being on stage with my friends, and it was like, Joe, you played, it was the time of your life. But it became a point where I showed up every day to scrims, just not excited about it. Even if like I still loved competing, like the weekends, online matches, going to events, I fucking loved it. That passion never left. But the day-to-day just became like monotonous, just getting better, showing up, playing COD 8 hours a day. And then on top of that, I was making myself stream for the past like 2 years because obviously I was thinking about retiring. So I needed to start to be somewhat consistent in that way because I was going to go make content. So not only am I scrimming 8 hours a day, I'm coming home and streaming another 4. And then I have to sleep. So at this point, I'm just grinding myself to the bone. So that was the last like 2 years or so. It just, the day-to-day got super monotonous. I had some personal stuff happen with my family that I just like couldn't be there for because I'm fucking living in California and I couldn't go home. And there's a bunch of stuff there that was definitely a factor in that I got into in the video a little bit. But it's just pretty much just a combination of all of those things. And I didn't want to keep playing even if I didn't enjoy it just to collect a check, because I think that is just very unfair to my team. If I'm showing up every day not going 100 because I'm just not enjoying myself and I'm playing with these guys, like I have 3 teammates that are going to depend on me every day. And even if I'm playing well, which is like the caveat that a lot of people I think go towards, is like, oh, you had one of your best seasons you've ever had, but it's like I fucking hated it. I don't care if I'm good. Like if I'm not enjoying myself, then like I'm not going to do it because it's unfair to the guys that I'm playing with every day, spending all this time with. If they're as committed as I should be and I'm just showing up going through the motions essentially, I didn't want to be that guy. So I called it because that was just, like I said, just pretty much a culmination of all of that.
I am curious. We're not really to dive into, if you guys haven't seen the first episode with Sam, we'll put that in the description. We go through his career, all of his stuff. But one thing we touched on was last year, like during Vanguard, it felt like you had sort of this, you said you were playing 8s a lot more, like you were grinding. Like it felt like champs, maybe because you knew it was
this year too, actually. I was playing a fuck ton of COD this year.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I guess because winning champs, did that sort of just relieve a lot of that? Obviously you want to keep winning, but was it sort of like, okay, I did it, like,
yeah,
I'm not done, but if I go out,
the rest is just like luxury at this point.
Yes, yeah, I did what I wanted to do. I won a ring type thing.
It wasn't the first thought. The first thought was just like, damn, it's been, I've competing for 8 years and I've never won it. I was just excited for Matt and just everyone on 100T. That was my first thought. And then after that, when I like started to, when the off season kicked in a little bit and I was thinking about playing next year, because obviously I have to, because I just won champs. It's like I got a little bit into the season and I was like, wow, I'm just really not where I need to be mentally. And I obviously like went through. I'm not going to sit here and play like I'm not suffering playing fucking COD every day. Like it's just when you're competing at a high level, regardless of what you're doing, whether it's video games or anything in life, if you're not there 100%, you shouldn't be there at all. So I kind of had that mentality after champs because that was the thing that I was playing for at that point. Like I left Seattle just had to win champs because I was coming off of the dark days of my career. Rejoining LAT, the stars were aligning. I had the roster I wanted. So winning champs that year kind of just like brought everything together for my career. And then after that, I think that I was not content, but I was just like, I've checked every box. Like this is the things, or these are the things that I wanted to do when I started competing, and now they're done. So once it kind of aligned with me not enjoying the game as much, because I think I still would. Like if we had a Treyarch title and things were looking good for COD, I don't think I would have retired. But there's just a lot of factors that went into it for sure.
Well, I know you didn't want to sound like tone deaf when you were like, you don't want to sound like you're suffering playing COD, but like I think everyone views it as like this perfect job. The same with like pro athletes and stuff. You're making a ton of cash. You're going around playing games, blah 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 blah. But like you talked about in your video a bit, but like you are suffering a bit when it comes to like the personal life and the family side. Like you said, like all you know is being a pro. You traveled around for 8 years. Like you weren't able to be there for some major moments. Like that part of it, I know some might think it's tone deaf, but it's not, bro. Like you just couldn't enjoy some of that stuff or be there where you wanted to. Like that part's got to be tough.
I mean, my entire adult life has been dedicated to COD. I mean, I've been playing since I was like 16 or 17 professionally. So like literally 18 to now 26. Like my entire adult life has been dedicated to just playing for 12 hours a day and traveling and just being like, I've lived away from home for 5 years at this point. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and play like my little tiny fiddle, bro. People would kill to be in the position that I'm in. It's just like par for the course when you're competing as much as you are. It could be a professional sports, it could be in fucking F1, it could be COD, it could be paper mache. Like it literally doesn't matter. If you're not 100% committed to your craft, you're never going to do well, and you're never going to like be the person that you would want to be within that space. So I had to sacrifice all of these things, and I'm not saying that like I wouldn't do it again, because I would, but now I'm tired of sacrificing all those things and I would like to go home. So
hey, we can speak to that, Maven. I mean, once we turned part-time, I was like, dude, we have our summers. Like that was the first time, because I went from competing into casting, and like you're at the same thing. We're at the events. Like it's been 11 years since I had a summer. I get to go on a summer vacation in a couple of weeks with my family.
I cannot tell you the last time I went on a summer vacation, because champs is in August.
Correct. Like, yeah, I literally when we usually get the text, it's like, no, I can't make it. Or when we were working broadcast, there were weekends. People wanted to come down in summer. It's like, no, we can't go. Like, so I mean, I think
even like at the high level, it's that stuff. Even at like the day-to-day, like doctor's appointments, I can't make those because I'm scrimming every day. Like, oh, I have like this random Tuesday off next week because like someone sketched. Like, all right, cool, I can go get my checkup. Like, it's just. It's the high level is like, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to go on vacation because chance, but then like just the everyday stuff, like I can't go to the store, like is this that I gotta stream, and it's just like having as much time. Even now, I've been retired for like 5 days, but like it's just the mentality and just how I am my day to day. I'm so much happier than I have been in years, to be honest.
It's awesome.
Without winning was great. But
yeah,
like
winning great.
Comparing the average to where I am now it's miles ahead.
Oh, that's amazing.
Well, I can fathom that it's been spectacular. But like, were you? I guess I'm just curious, like how surprised and like shocked were maybe like family members or teammates, because I know a lot of like, we were talking to Priesta and he was like, I didn't say I would comment, like we didn't until we heard
all the Rostermania stuff, like no one's talking about these because they think Sam's still on the roster.
We'll get into that. The Rostermania stuff was funny. We'll get into it and like why I did the announcement when I did and all that, but yeah, no players knew or saw it coming, so I only told 2 people to start. One of them was Zuma. I asked him super early. I told him like major 2 of this year, because I was asking for advice. I was like, dude, I am shitting myself, because I like at this point I'm committed. Like when I'm talking to Tommy about retiring and doing all this, like I was 100% committed to my decision. So I went to him. I was asking for advice, just like how it's been outside of competing, because he retired pretty much out of the blue because of his injury. He didn't want to do it. So he got thrown into the deep end, and I feel like he was the best person to go to see like how he's done since then, and obviously he's been incredible. So I went to him for some advice, and then obviously Seth, he knew since Major 3. I had a conversation with him as well. But I told both of them, and then I told Ian. And Ian or Enable, I fucked up telling Ian because Ian told Cap and Shane, which we'll get into. But so I told Seth and Tommy, and I was just asking them for advice, and they made me feel a little bit better about it. And then I went and told Ian, and then we have these like post-event, basically post-mortems of the event to like see what happened and personal performance, team-wise, everything like that. We had these one-on-one calls. We had my normal one, and then at the very end, before I'm about to hang up, Cap goes, "So, you retiring?" So I didn't give him a concrete answer at the time, but the answer at the time was yes, because I'm not just going to sit here and like tell them, obviously. So I went through the whole season, finished it out, and then I think they had known, and I think they probably had let my teammates know that like this might be it, because none of them were surprised when I had let everybody know. So I think either my teammates kind of put two and two together from how I was just acting every day going into the office, or Cap and Shane had told them, but none of them were surprised, but all of the player base and all the fans were like, "There's no fucking way," for sure.
Well, not players. No, Rostermania. You cannot trust Enable with Intel. No Intel for Enable.
He told Cap and Shane.
Well, I think it was just like I don't think there's like really a better way you could have done it. I mean, you would fuck people over if it was like a mid-season thing. Like you played the season out, you decided to retire. But I think it took, I don't know, some maturity and self-reflection to just kind of get it. Like, hey, it's not fair. Because I think like if this was, I don't know, pre-CDL, pre-CWL, like earlier days, if you weren't giving 100% sort of whatever, you could go through the motions and get dubs. But I think we've all kind of come to terms with it's just too competitive now. And like, if you don't have that drive to be the best, like you're not fucking winning. It's not happening. Like it's just, it's not. So I don't know. I mean, props to you to just kind of get that and be like, I don't want to be a fucking douche. Like
I kind of just, it's just unfair to my teammates, man. If I was, I can't show up every day and not give it 100% if I'm going to play with three other guys. But I wasn't also showing up like not trying. I think that's like a thing that people are probably going to pull from this conversation, is that I was just like showing up miserable every day, like not wanting to scrim. And that's not the case at all. Like I was still going 100%, and I was giving myself like ways to improve that were just things that I had never done in my career, which I think is the reason that the last like year and a half or so of like Vanguard and last season, I was like much more vocal. I was like shifting my play style a lot. I was doing things and taking myself out of my comfort zone as a way to like keep improving, because I could just show up every day, like,
find little goals.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, I could show up and like just call, like not call out and like go positive. You know what I mean? But instead, I wanted to keep myself within the realm of competing and improving, and not going through the motions and not falling into that trap of just like being miserable scrimming every day. Like I wanted to show up and be like, all right, today I'm gonna try to get better at my comms thing. I'm gonna help us like on the IGL side. I'm just going to do all of these things to keep myself improving throughout these last 2 years, even if I know that this is my last season, to make sure that like I'm not being an asshole to my teammates.
Yeah, because I'm sure it'd just be easy to do that for many. It's like, I'm done after this. Fuck it, collect my checks. I'm out of here. But I'm sure it's also some motivation. You want to go out. I know it didn't maybe go out how you wanted it to, but try to go out on like a high note. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. You know this is the end.
I'm getting intel right now, guys. Holy shit.
Oh my god!
I'm getting in all the intel right now.
It's probably from Enable, dude. They probably told Enable. He's probably leaking it to you now.
Hell no.
I'll never tell Enable shit, bro.
Yeah, because so it's very easy to be like, when you only tell a handful of people something, it's very easy to backtrack and figure out who said something. So I was like, okay, Cap and Shane know. What are the odds that Seth told them? Gotta be 0. Tommy,
zero.
There's no way he talks to them. Ian, yeah, he definitely got hammered and said something.
Yeah, probably.
A piece of shit. Well, hey, I want to talk about like I don't know, kind of the positives and negatives of like doing it like this, because most people, I feel like, I don't know, it's like this slow death kind of like.
Leave me out of this, bro. Like, fuck off.
Like it
just the point get forced out instead of going out on your own. That's something that I knew when I went pro that I would never do. I was never gonna be like playing beyond the time that I either enjoyed it, or when I was just shit and just like getting forced into challengers and then slowly dwindling away. Like I was never going to do that. And I think like knowing this was my last year, winning that last event, Major 4, like actually made it so much worse. like
it made it worse?
Yeah, because we were in an Uber on the way to celebrate the win in LA, and Cap and I were just like bullshitting about me retiring, and he was like, so like, what are you thinking? Like, we just won the event. Like, how, like, where's your head at? I'm like, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It made it way worse. Like, it's just trying to like, we're winning, we're playing well. If we had won champs, then I'm like, actually just, I'm in a mental haze at that point if we win again. Obviously, I have to play another year, but winning and having
athletes have retired after winning. I mean, like winning.
Yeah,
Super Bowl or something like that. I mean, that'd be a way to go out. You'd be the first.
Yeah,
so
but like a back-to-back champs win,
retire.
blowing up. Exactly, that's exactly what I did. No, back-to-back champs win and blowing up the roster just to retire. Like, I don't know. I don't think I could do that. But winning and having success and like being good at the game is definitely things to like keep me like one foot in the door. But I was just so committed mentally to the decision that I don't think it would have mattered.
Well,
I mean, listen, because if you would have went back to back, then you would have played this game. Who knows? And then the year after that would have been the Treyarch title, and you're like, this might be the last one.
Then I'm locked in.
This might have to be the last one. Yeah.
Then I'm locked in for 3 years.
And I think the other positive is just like how your legacy's not tarnished in a way like everyone will just remember you sort of at your peak, like being a freak. And not listen, Crim's probably not the best example. It's not like he went through like challengers and collapsed and just literally was fighting. Like he kind of retired in his terms to some degree, but like still like he went to the point where like newer viewers are like, I'll see a comment like, wait, Crim was good. Like, do you see that? Like, they came out
the Simp one,
Sim's first 5 years in Crim's. There's like a couple of replies were like, Crim was that good. I'm like, Jesus Christ! Like, he just got to a point. Played so long. Like, some people just know or just remember, like, where he wasn't like at the peak at the end. Whereas you were still dominating. But I guess I feel like the negative to it for me would just be like the mental side of the what if. Like, who would have maybe sent me an offer? Watching, I could have been gaming still.
But I mean, that's just something I just got to like brush off. I mean, I could sit here and what if forever. Like, what if I played another season and I got offered by FaZe? Like, what if I played another season and we kept winning on LAT? Like, there's a million different things that it could have been. But
okay, so what if FaZe would have offered you a contract?
That is the conversation that everyone keeps asking me. And truthfully, I don't know because I thought about it happening towards the tail end of the season when everyone was like, oh, they're just gonna go get Octane. Like there's like a rumor started or
because you actually get the objective and they need that. So
there's 2 minutes of the hill.
There was just like this narrative of me joining FaZe at the end of the season. So I was starting to give it some thought. And after the season was over,
Simp and Abizi. It'd be great to have him on my team.
That's fucking great. But after the season was over, I DM'd Tyler out of just morbid curiosity. And he was talking to me about roster stuff and just like what he should do and a bunch of different stuff about their team. He was giving my opinion on it. And I was like, okay, so we finished the conversation. I'm like, so like, would you guys offer me? Just more of a curiosity. He's like, you were definitely an option. I'm like, motherfucker.
I knew you had to be. It's just too logical. I mean,
I just don't know if it would have kept me playing because like being home was the number one thing for me. Like being in Virginia, being around family and getting out of LA was the number one thing. And there's not many situations within the CDL where not playing in the home market or not playing all in the same place is viable, let alone on a good team. And the exception is FaZe because like Chris flies back and forth from Jersey. He lives in Jersey during the weeks. And I just don't know if that would be enough to keep me playing. Obviously, the team would be insane. It's fucking the trio. But it would take some soul searching for sure if they were to actually offer me a legitimate contract.
It's still an option.
No, we're good. We're good.
Well, I guess that kind of leads to like the next thing. Like, is this door firmly closed, or it seems like there's still at least like a crack, a little bit?
I've talked about it at length on stream. The amount of events that would have to line up in order for me to come back would be almost like 0.01%. Because I would need the team to be good first and foremost. It would have to be under an organization that I would like. They would have to let me play from home. The salary would have to be greater than or equal to whatever I'm doing in content at this random point in time that I get an offer. There's just so many things that would have to go into it that I don't think like that many factors can happen in my favor for me to come back. I'm not going to say no because like if FaZe comes to me and they're like, we'll give you $500,000 to play with Simp and Abizi, you can play in Virginia. And that's that. I'm like, all right, well, we'll think about it. And like the game would have to be not shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's just so many things that.
So it's like still maybe kind of open, but yeah, just take
the door is ajar.
Yeah.
You think I feel like the biggest thing people will miss is like the competing part. Like for me, like even when I still commentate, I'm like, these guys, like there's moments like the ego that I used to have, like kind of comes back up. I'm like, that guy's an idiot, right? Like I feel like talking to, Study, Nameless, like, Zuma, that sort of just never goes away. That competitive drive, it'll never leave you. I think there's ways to find other outlets, whether it's, I don't know, sports outside of it, or it's simply just playing ranked or other games. Like, do you think you'll miss it that much, like when you're sitting in the stands watching, or is it more just I'm good? Because you kind of have a different, I feel like you're more relaxed and chill. Like we've talked about that, but
I have a couple points to that. Well, one is, when you're competing, Joe, you don't want to see anyone win, right? Like, you don't give a fuck who wins the event, but when you sit there hating them, doesn't matter who.
Yes.
So as soon as we lost,
that.
As soon as we lost, I retired. I did it backstage, like, not to make a bad situation worse. So I let everyone know, and we went up to the box, and I was sitting there, and it was actually a night and day difference to say it out loud and like be retired, even though, like, whatever. I put it out there. That was the last series that I'll play on stage, probably. And I went up there and I was watching COD, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck who wins. And it felt great. I had drink in hand.
That's honestly impressive.
I was watching New York. I'm like, I retired literally 10 minutes ago, and I came out here right now, and I don't give a singular fuck who wins this series. I just hope it's a good one. And I was like, this is a wild mentality shift for me.
Well, thanks, Ultra.
It's taken me years to like get to that point.
It was lights instant. Not even, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but it was.
I think that means you made the right decision. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. No, it definitely did.
I mean, obviously you have your friends and stuff, but
I was happy New York one. I love all.
Yeah, Joe clutches a 1v2 in Warzone, and like, I know this guy thinks he's hopping right in and gunning FaZe.
Dude,
like 100%.
I keep getting coaching questions, and I'm like, if I would lose my mind coaching. Like, I would probably get so tilted to the point where I would rather pick up the controller, or I would just like go brain dead, like just watching a COD minimap all day. So hats off to all the CDL coaches, because I don't know how Cap and Shane and anyone else just managed to do that, because I would tweak.
Chris definitely has gone slightly insane.
Cap too.
Yeah.
Cap too.
Yeah,
Cap as well.
Yeah. But I don't.
Shane's a little different.
Be that.
It's tough to compare those resumes, but
he's a fucking dog. So.
But,
I forgot he's still a dog, right?
Yeah.
He's fucked forever. But to answer your original question, I don't know what I'm gonna do to like scratch the competitive itch, because that's what it always is, right? It's the scrims and the day-to-day that drive people away. Like, I think Seth and Zinni said it a lot this year. Like, they share the same sentiment. They love being on stage. They love competing. I don't think as a competitor that will ever go away. So I'm just gonna have to find ways to like figure things out to deal with it. But I think I'm just gonna harp back to the fact that I know what it feels like to grind enough to be on that stage and win, and just be like, yeah, I'm good for now. Like, I'll turn the stream on.
I'll turn the stream on. Yeah, and I guess like even like the day-to-day, I think the other part, like even when I think coaching, like as much as Cap and Crowder probably drives people crazy, I think the tough thing for me to find was like your teammates or your family. And I think Seth talked about this, or talked about it a lot, was that like the thing he probably missed the most is the camaraderie, because you're literally like
your brothers
going to war every day.
Bro,
but
you're spending 12 to 15 hours a day with these guys. Like, they're your best friends, or that team's not working.
Yeah, and it goes to zero, like instantly. Yeah. Like it's just nothing. And to refine that again, like luckily we have a really good streaming crew. I'm sure you'll have no problem doing the same, but it takes some time to find that sort of, it could for a lot of people. So I think that's maybe why like some people are asking about coaching, because it's very similar. But yeah.
And watching COD makes me nervous.
Makes you nervous?
Dude, I said I don't care who wins, but that doesn't mean that I'm not sitting there like shitting myself in like a 1v2. You know what I mean? Like,
dude, it's worth watching.
I don't know what it is. It could be the most like random, insignificant like moment, and I'm sitting there just like, oh my fucking, like I'm like going back and forth. And it's like in the game compared to how I feel. It's like I'm just super relaxed. Like, I don't think about that really at all. Like, I've never had like pressure get to me for the most part. In game compared to like watching it's brain numbing. Like, it's mind numbing. Like, I don't know how I can't watch COD casually, let alone COD when I am invested. Like, if I'm coaching a team and I'm watching them in like a 1v2 situation, I would actually shit myself backstage. Like, I can't watch COD. It's tough.
Yeah, I've heard that before. Just being tougher to watch. I think a lot of people kind of get that.
It's me anxiety.
Well, for the coaches and stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You sort of said, Joe was talking about sort of the brotherhood and the friendship and stuff, but like, I think for you, I know it's like a different whole maybe, but like just getting back with your family and stuff is going to, I think, patch that a bit, right? Just being around Family you
Yeah.
haven't been able to for like 5 years, just be able to see people.
Yeah, we had like a huge cookout for July 4th, and I was like, I called myself in a moment just like hanging out, having a drink, but it was like a very, I don't even know the word to call it, but I was just sitting there like, holy shit, this feels fucking fantastic. Like it's just like everything that I've ever cared about for the last like 3 years. Just like this feeling is what I have been looking for, and it hit so much harder. It was such a, I don't even know the word for it, but it was like actually cathartic in a way.
That's gonna be you soon, Clint, as my neighbor. It's gonna be
I
you.
can't wait, dude. I'm gonna live like 2 blocks from him, bro.
Wait, really?
Yeah, walking distance.
I'm trying to sell my house and stuff. Going through that process right now, and just move it. It was either. I was thinking either LA, like with like Jack and Matt and Swiss and all them. Yes, that's what it came down to. I was like, I'm
literally
not
the same conversation.
I'm not living in LA again. I'm just not doing it. And then I just figured it's just been a while since I've lived. Like I have a lot of like I know there's a lot of players here and like friends, but not like I don't have like close friends that I want to like hang out with all the time and go sit down and chill. And I've got several there in Ohio, so I'm gonna go annoy that dickhead and raise his son.
Yeah, I'm gonna have another child. I have 2 kids now. So one's very big and large.
One has more hair than the other, but they're younger.
Yeah, it's close right now. Yeah, but yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, apparently mullets are coming back, is what he was telling me. I was thinking, like, I can grow hair back here, so I could do some sort of like bald mullet.
You can grow hair in the back.
Yeah, like it grows like around here. It's just really thin here is why I shave it. It just gets like thin, but I could shave it and have some sort of bald mullet thing going.
Holy shit!
Is it called a skullet?
I don't know if that's the thing.
No, if your top is shaved, it's a skullet.
So I could technically do a skullet.
Yeah, I would actually love to see that.
I wouldn't. It'd be fucking horrible.
I would probably have enough time to grow it before the next event, so it's fine. It's
you got 5 months. Holy shit.
Maybe. Might be longer. Who knows?
Oh, yeah, I guess. Until the season even starts.
Probably like skull. It looks like, wow, this is interesting. Okay.
No,
insane. Yeah, that is wild, man. Looking up a skullet. I don't know if you'd want to see this.
All right. I'm going to start working on it.
Okay. All right.
Maybe I'll look good. Maybe that's how I find a lady. She's like, God damn, that's a nice skullet.
Yeah. Could I pull on it?
You never know. Next thing you know, pull on something else.
That's perfect. Yes. This podcast is evolving. We're going into anarchy.
Is blasted.
Imagine me with that casting at 249 hard point. I'm like shaking this up and my hair's going wild in the back, dude.
I was going to be holding like a dog leash in the booth.
Rough bar for me.
We're devolving. It's anarchy.
Oh no, that's perfect. This is exactly what I love. But like,
par for the course.
I know. I guess I'm happy for you though, just in general, the sense of like, when I was like looking up, sort of trying to think of like questions for. I was trying to find like an interview that happened with like a retired athlete and some of the stuff they would focus on. Like I kept seeing like a big one that popped up was like mental health stuff, just because it is such a big transition. Like a lot of these players, like, you kind of lose your identity, that competitive drive. But I feel like it's a little different in our world because you can keep doing content. So you sort of like keep that identity as like Octane and keep streaming and doing stuff. And it seems like just getting closer to your family and like the competitive drive stuff, you seem to have a good head on your shoulders about it. So like, I don't find myself worried about you. Like you're going to be okay.
I mean,
imagine being like a retired basketball player. Like, what do you do? Like, I guess just go to your local gym and just dunk on dads. Like you said.
Yeah, there's no way to like stay involved. Actually, that's that's just the unique thing about esports and the internet. But yeah, when you retire from the NFL,
I still got the gunny
go.
sometimes. Like you can, shit. But like you could like still play at a high level for a long time and play ranked and stuff. So like I don't know, it's still.
Yeah, I don't.
He's still there.
I don't, because it's so weird because I don't think like it's hit me in a way, but I don't like I'm not doing anything right now that I would do differently if I wasn't retired. Like I would still be streaming, I would still be doing the exact same routine that I have now if I was competing next season. So I don't think it's fully going to hit me until the game drops and things like get underway, and I'm just not involved in that way anymore. But yeah, I think right now it's just like a weird middle ground, just waiting for the season because I wouldn't change anything about my routine regardless. And then obviously I could still stick around and play kickoffs and like do these things that I would do normally. I don't know. It's like a weird middle ground.
Well, let's talk about sort of like this part of it then, like just kind of what's next as far as the content and stuff goes. I guess I'm just curious, like, was that your home? Was it them, nobody else type thing when you signed with Other Thieves? Did you consider weighing other options after talking to like You said you talked to Zuma, pop it off the face, optic. Like, did you consider other stuff or?
I had thought about it, but I feel like the peace of mind that being under that organization has given me over the last couple of years, I feel like it would have been a disservice to do it anywhere else. Obviously there's like, I was thinking about endemic stuff like FaZe and Optic and like even outside of COD, like NRG, LG, TSM, whatever. But I don't think that there would have been a better way to not only prop myself up, but also help 100 Thieves in the Call of Duty space while like just bringing in more people from, obviously I have a lot of fans that come from 100 Thieves, but anything I can do to help out would make me feel a lot better. And also Matt literally offered me on the spot after I told them. So that is
that's a tough to say now. You'd be like, let me think about it.
Yeah, it's a pretty big driving factor right there for sure.
What's like, Joe and I were talking about this, like you sort of mentioned, you've been doing the streaming stuff for like 2 years, right? And even before that, like you were
I've streamed my entire career.
Yes, yeah. So you more than a lot. But what I guess is the plan, like what's the difference now? Now that you have more time, what else do you want to do? Do you have like any kind of cool plans, or for now just sort of figuring out the move, the house, all that stuff, and just put in the streaming hours?
Right. Well, definitely in the immediate future, it's going with the flow. I'm streaming when I can, trying to get the house figured out with all the furniture and stuff. It's a brand new move, so trying to get situated. I don't even have internet in the damn place yet. So for the immediate future, just like in a weird limbo, streaming from my parents' house as many hours as I can. But long down the line, obviously with like watch parties during the season, me and Tommy are talking about me being on the flank for a little bit. There's just like a lot of I could do anything. Like that's the whole point of being retired, is that like I can just do whatever the fuck I want to do. I can show up and probably be on the desk for a weekend if I wanted to. I can talk to the league and do some sort of like independent thing for the events. Like I can do all of this stuff that I would have loved to do while I was competing. Too. There you go, PoE 2. I will also be playing that.
Is there a second one coming out?
Yeah, there is.
Oh boy,
it looks like Diablo. It's gonna be great.
I'm not shit.
Yeah, you cannot. Well, I mean, I guess you could. I'll be near you. I can check on you.
Listen, playing PoE is not good. It's not good. PoE is the most unhealthy game that I've ever played in my life.
No, and well, you know him. I mean, dude.
I don't know.
Past COVID year,
the guy haven't moved.
COVID year, the most addicting game in the world, and I don't know why. It's like it's on par with WoW, which is just an unbelievable comparison to give.
It's just the currency and the economy and the crafting. It's just, dude,
everything. The game is
during COVID in MW19. We'd like have casts on Saturday, and I'd call him, and I'm like, "Yo, you ready for this cast?" He'd be like, "We cast today? It's Saturday." He'd be like, I haven't slept in like 46 hours. And I'm like, what do you mean?
I know.
He's like,
I know all about Clint's PoE grind.
Yeah. Was it good? He had some personal things going on as well, but it was
fucked up, but I was playing a lot of PoE.
Yeah, he did. So I didn't even know there was a second one out. Oh boy. Okay.
It's not out yet, but there's been a bunch of gameplay trailers lately. You got to keep him on it. Whenever it gets that Scully, you just keep him on a leash. Just hold him whenever he starts playing.
Yeah, at least I'll have him nearby. So yeah.
Nah, but I can just do whatever I want to do. And obviously just committing to streaming. I can only do like 3 to 4 hours a day during season because I would actually kill myself just burning out. But now I could stream 8 to 12 and be content. I can bullshit on stream. I can bait Reddit and Twitter and all of these things and pure happiness. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Well, the PoE 2 stuff kind of just. Thinking of stuff outside of Call of Duty, like, do you have any other hobbies that you were doing like during the season stuff? But like, I guess I want to know like stuff that you've kind of maybe wished you could do, whether it's like reading or whatever, just stuff that you didn't have time for that you want to dive into now that you can, as you said, do whatever the fuck you want.
During the season, it was kind of hard to work around the schedule to have other things other than just like playing other video games, which I don't consider as a different hobby. But me and my girlfriend started going to like a lot of concerts and shows and stuff to get out of the house because we felt just like actually cooped up in LA. So there's a bunch of that stuff. I don't consider it like a hobby, but I like trade stocks a shit ton and day trading and all that. So I have the time for that stuff now.
Holy fuck, he's on Wall Street, dude.
Big T Junior over here, dude.
But I have the time to like actually do that shit now as opposed to giving my all to COD. And then just like random sports shit here and there. Start going to the gym again now that I don't have to pick, because when you're competing, you have 2 options out of the 3 things that you actually want to do. You get scrims, you get streaming, and you get the gym, and you get to pick 2 of them. Obviously, scrims being one. So you don't get all 3. So now I get start going to the gym again, so I don't feel nasty about myself. So I don't know. I just do whatever the fuck I want to do, and it feels great.
Love it. And you've always been. I mean, obviously, like, you're building the house. Like financially, it feels like stable, and you're intelligent with your money. Some people aren't. When they start making money, they like to spend it and buy very nice things. You've also won a lot, so that
pretty well in me when I was coming up.
Yeah, I was just say your parents. Yeah,
yeah.
It sounds like
I got real
as
estate.
well.
I got portfolios. I got a bunch of stuff.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I would say, like, are you comfortable enough? Because content, as we all know, can be a roller coaster. They similar to like COD. There literally may not be a game out that you want to play at the moment. It's like, do I want to turn my stream on and actually play this game? Like, no, I don't. But sometimes it just feels like you have to. And I was gonna say, are you kind of ready for that? But it feels like you're prepped for that.
I don't know. I just the freedom I think is just like I've played like 6 different games on stream for the last like week, just rotating, just doing whatever. So I think like during the season it'll feel pretty routine from what I was doing like when I was actually competing, because I would just play COD, I'll play ranked, I'll like watch party, I'll do a lot of stuff that I was normally doing. But I'm excited more so for like when COD's not happening, because like then I can play a lot of like the single player story mode games I like. I can get into the stuff that I play off stream a bunch, could stream PoE, then I'll be live for 80 hours a week. Like there's just like I'm more excited because it within my normal COD niche of streaming, I don't think things are gonna feel too foreign in any way. I think watch party is just a ton of fun because I just talk shit about COD and do the things that I would normally do, and then obviously like play ranked and stuff. And yeah, I don't think anything's gonna be too different compared to where I was normally be at.
Awesome. I take your dad out for some portfolios.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's tough because I kind of wanted to ask you. It's not 1-to-1. You know, like you hear about all the financial nightmares that happen with pro athletes, obviously, like once they're done. And I knew that I didn't know like exact details, but I knew that you'd been smart with money, and like I kind of wanted to like see if you had sort of any advice for like younger players. But it's kind of tough because it's not like you come in and you know, whatever the league minimum is, if you're in the NBA, like you're making good money. Like
yeah, you're making millions of dollars.
You've made so much more than most players will. It's kind of hard to even give advice from that standpoint, I guess. Or
I mean, it's just like, I mean, I'm pretty financially secure, not enough to the point where I'm like, I don't care how my content goes. Like if I'm tanking on Twitch, I'm going to be pretty paranoid about it because I have no revenue source anymore. But yeah, I've been pretty good on money. Just investments, put it away, and have like accounts that you just don't touch over time. Throw it in ETFs and bonds and all that stuff when you're young, because that money will obviously accrue over time. And I have real estate. That's something you got to learn about and figure out if you want to do that for yourself or not. But
you have like rentals? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I have a handful. But it's just like a lot of self teaching, I think, because it's very easy to just be like, oh, just put in stocks. But like, what does that actually fucking mean? And I'm not going to sit here and give you guys stock picks. I'm not fucking doing that. But there's like a lot that you just need to be proactive about it, because it is very easy, like you guys said, when you're young and you're making 6 figures, it's very easy to be like, oh, I really want this fucking Louis Vuitton thing that's $12,000. Like, sure, whatever. I made $19,000 this month. I can go buy this. Like, it's very easy to fall into that trap.
Crazy how easy it is to spend money. Like how hard it is to earn money. It is unbelievably easy to spend it. Like
I'm
it's not hard to make money disappear.
I spent $700 at Target yesterday. I didn't even know it was possible. I didn't even know I could find $700 worth of items at Target, but I figured it out somehow.
Yeah, dude,
it's a lot.
Crazy.
I'm kind of curious. Are you doing the whole like? Because I know Kat's parents did a lot of like the owning properties and stuff here in Dallas, and like at first they did like the whole managing all of it, managing the rental of it. Something they like use own the note and like don't have to are you the bank basically don't have to deal with all that bullshit? Or
I have a company that I work with on all of them, and they're basically just a management company, and they operate as like me, and they'll take like, I think it's like 4% or 5% or something like that per month. But it's just like good passive income. At first I was doing it when I had like 1 or 2, I was just doing it on my own because it was easy. But then like obviously once the properties ramped up and then the day-to-day started to get like kind of annoying with what I was doing, that's when I just got like a company and did all that.
Yeah, they did something.
Write down notes, Maeve. You need to learn from this guy.
No, they did something where they just like ended up like they just like own the note for the house. They're basically the bank. They don't have to deal with any of this shit.
They
just own it.
That's pretty much it.
Which seems like a lot nicer than pipe bust and you have to go and handle that shit.
But I have a company for that.
Yeah, that seems.
They send me a work order. They're like, "Yo, this guy fucked up your house somehow." I'm like, "All right, go fix it."
Unfuck it up, please. Unfuck it up.
everyone needs to be like Sam. He's my idol. He's so smart and handsome, and there's his full life ahead of him, full head of hair, dude. Just the world's your oyster. Do whatever you want.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, because I think if you could pick one of those things, maybe it's just like shoot straighter. That's probably the first thing.
I got the beam. I got the beamer, dude. That's all I can do. I can't like think straight, but I can shoot straight.
So I have a question for you guys because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do. Is Warzone just shit? Is Warzone shit?
It's just not. It's just not COD.
Because rank sounds really fun and it sounds really enticing, but I just know that I will not have fun.
Yeah. I would just say
it's improved a lot. It's just not COD, bro.
Yeah, I mean Warzone 2. So basically, like how like MW19 was all like kind of built around Warzone.
Yeah, this
game was built around DMZ, right?
Okay, that's like the extraction thing, right?
Yeah, so a lot of Warzone 2 features in kind of the build around it's needed a lot of fixes. It's in a much better place, but it's just.
You just feel like
you may like it.
You guys play every day, so I feel like you guys are the best people to ask. Because like I'm trying to because chat, like I got people in chat, they're like, "We should go play Warzone." I'm like, do I want to? Like that's because like the last time I really enjoyed myself was solos and Fortune Keep over the last off season. That was some of the.
So you now they just came out with a new map, Vondel, and it's they have solos, and that it could be a good place if you have fun on that. Then maybe think about ranked.
Okay,
but if you don't, then just. Get out.
Dude, solos on Fortune's Keep was some of the most fun that I've hit. Like, even comparing to Verdansk. Like, Fortune's Keep solos were, like, very fun. They were an absolute blast. And they got me through the majority of the last offseason because I'd stream that shit for, like, 6 hours a day and just have a fucking blast doing it.
Just imagine, like, all of the finesse is gone. Mm-hmm. So it's just tough.
Yeah,
like, you kill one and then you can't stim and run away. You can't slide. Yeah. It's just sort of like a... Maybe I have time to play, but it takes an hour. Mantling takes an hour. Everything just feels like it takes an hour. I don't know how else to describe it.
It doesn't feel like COD at times.
It just doesn't feel like COD. Yeah. But like
mechanically,
it is sort of like the meta is usually in like rank. It's some sort of like laser beam type thing where you just need to shoot straight at longer ranges a lot of times. So you'd probably be a god with like some of like how it plays. Like just don't miss a bullet.
That's just always been Warzone though. That's just like you just find an AR setup that just doesn't move with a silencer on it, and then a sub that aims outside instantly, and then you run around.
Pretty much. Yeah. But now it's everyone throws 6 smokes and drill charges through walls, so you just blow up
and that just deterred me instantaneously. All right.
So how you guys G8 smokes because there's no finesse and stuff like that. Team fights are because you can stow grenades in your backpack.
Okay.
So what you do is usually each player has about 2 to 4 smokes and 2 to 4 drill charges. So a team fight in a building is smoke to like dodge their bullets incoming if they're in a building, and then we're throwing drills. They're going through the wall, exploding on them, and then we're all running through smoke with no aim assist, hip firing each other. And no, I'm not kidding. That's I basically
H1.
Yeah, I mean, in a way,
did you guys ever watch like H1, the H1 League? Did you guys ever see that?
Oh,
so, Joe, do you remember like it just fights? It would just be like a wall of just 8 smokes, and then you would just like run into the middle, hip firing with AKs. Like that's what this sounds like.
That's what this is.
It is. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Okay, well, that
remember my deaths in a day where I'm just like, I just died to someone I couldn't see in the smoke, but he saw me and he got aim assist, but I'm just spinning circles with none. Like,
okay,
yeah,
that is duly noted. Warzone's enough.
Yeah, it's probably, like I said, try Vondel. If you like Vondel, we'll see. Maybe that'll have fun.
I've been playing a shit ton of Cold War, and Cold War is just a blast. I love it.
Dude, I've been watching
it. Slamming you, bro.
What?
Dude, Crowder said I've been shitting on Octane.
I will literally pull up the VOD on this podcast for you. That is just not the case. I don't think Chris killed me one time.
Dude, I get so jealous because like watching everyone at night play 8s because it's opposite of my schedule. I'm like, dude, this looks like a blast. I wish they could just take the race system that we have now and put it in Cold War for the offseason. Bro, how fun would that be?
I cannot believe they took out ranked from Cold War 2. They already took it out.
There's no
you can't. There's no rank. No, it's only pubs or like A's.
Maybe we can ask them nicely. No, it's a resurgence, bro. We're back. Like that's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of people on there. A lot of because like there was like the bunch of that security issues and stuff, like people getting doxxed or whatever in pubs. All that's gone. So all the pubs are populated again. Like you get games instantly.
Oh, they fixed all that stuff?
Oh yeah, you can play PUBG.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I knew it was like an issue for a while. Like with
they fixed all that.
Hit up our Treyarch friends, dude. Maybe they'll bring over the fun stuff. But hey, guys, how hard could it be to implement this again? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey. All right. All right. Let's have some fun before we get into Rostermania stuff. We just have random questions because again, we went through your career last podcast episode. So we're just gonna rifle off.
I just jotted down some random.
Yeah, I'm gonna go off of it then.
We'll take that.
Good luck.
Most embarrassing career moment.
Double donuts.
Double donuts.
Double.
What game was that?
That was Vanguard.
Vanguard.
FaZe.
Okay, well, world champion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Favorite team.
Though. It's tough. That I've been on.
I think you can answer now that you're retired. Tough when you're still playing, but
probably tied between my 100 Thieves team and LAT.
LAT. Okay.
Yeah. One of those two.
Okay. If there was a game that you could
Seattle
redo,
Surge?
No.
Which one would it be? If you could redo a game,
Redo in what way?
I guess like I'm thinking, if you go back just the entire year, so either the way you played it and your team played it, or maybe there was a roster decision that year that you could have made and ended up somewhere. But
Black Ops 3.
Black Ops 3.
Because my team was really good at the beginning, and I just immediately got complacent, and I was an asshole. So
there we go. That's
Black Ops.
That answers that perfectly.
It could have been good.
I think this is probably an easy one, but highlight of your career, champs.
Probably champs or winning London in 2019.
Wow, how come?
Because the crowd was like the greatest crowd that has ever existed in COD history, and then that was 100 Thieves' first ever win in anything.
Yeah, I was gassing the shit out of you, so I started telling me to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that was the best crowd we've ever had.
100%. Get us back to London. Favorite competitive title?
Either Black Ops 3 or IW.
Oh, okay.
I miss Uplink so goddamn bad.
Same. I did too.
Yeah. Let me some get Uplink. Okay. If you could change, this is an interesting one. Did you write this one, Mav, or was it me?
Yeah,
you did.
I did. Yeah.
You could change one thing about the CDL. What would it be? You find
Landlead.
now. Landlead, bring it back. I made it. Favorite movie? Clint wants to know.
Either Shutter Island or Whiplash.
Ooh, I just rewatched Whiplash, by the way. It's on Prime. It's unbelievable if you haven't seen it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, Shutter Island's like one of those movies like I like, but it's like
it's a quintessential answer for sure. I just really like it.
It's like a Boondock Saints is probably like my favorite movie, but it's not like a great movie. It's just like my favorite movie. But like Whiplash is like a god tier film.
No,
like,
it's a god tier movie.
Yeah, that movie's so fucking good.
I forgot how good it was. We just like threw it on, like it's a movie as background noise, and then all of a sudden I was literally just locked in.
Yeah. Dude, the final scene of that movie is one of my favorite scenes that I've ever had or ever seen in a movie anywhere ever.
When he's just going ham.
Yeah. And then just looks at him, fade to black. Unbelievable.
One piece of advice you'd give to aspiring players.
Don't be a complacent asshole when you're younger, and be open to criticism from either veterans on your team or just criticism in general. Because I thought that my shit didn't stink when I was younger, and I could have been so much better even than I was.
Okay. I like it.
It's just, it's depending on like your parents and like how it's just hard to like, you just have to mature. And sometimes people are trying to do that while you're playing COD.
It's really hard because the way you get in the league is being very good. So you just have a bunch of positive reinforcement all the time. And then you just think that you're literally God's gift to earth in COD. And it's very hard to bring yourself back down.
Well, I think too, like even I could speak to this, like when you found success, like it's hard to sort of break that routine because you think the way back to that success is the same way, but it's not. Like that's one thing I had to re-break. Like, oh, I need to do this differently. Like trying to do that. So yeah, just curious. We have a tier list. I forgot Toronto Ultra made as well. So we're gonna do this now. So we have a bunch of your teams, and we are going to make a tier list on what you think.
I gotta like get this full screen.
Okay, this says Isolation Esports. Was this one of your teams?
That was AW before I went pro.
Devil, Infamous, and Stringo. Where are we putting them?
That's not correct, but we're gonna put them in D.
That's okay. D. That's fine.
I'm gonna put them in D.
Well, I know they said they like looked through the COD wiki and there's probably so many different
There's
rosters
some-
listed on there. I'm sure
All
some
good.
of these aren't like 100% accurate, but like
No
we'll still go
worries.
through that's some fun.
No worries.
Dream Team. You were on DT?
I was on DT. That was when I got top 12 in Orlando of AW right before I like actually joined like Justice and like went down the path. But like, cause that back then you had to place well as an amateur in open bracket to get shots. So this was my team that I placed well in open bracket to get shots. We'll do C. I think that's C.
Okay.
Justice.
Justice? Is this the right one?
There are very many iterations of this team.
Okay,
There was
let's change this to
Yeah, there was
ours.
a lot. There was
Me,
a lot.
you,
Okay.
TCM, and Study. We got top
We
6,
were
by the way.
really bad, Joe.
We were.
We were really fucking bad. Like we were like D tier bad.
Yeah, no, we were. But we got a top 6 out of Atlanta.
did get
That's
a top
all I'm
6.
saying.
UMG Ontario. I lost my wallet that weekend too. I remember that.
That's it. I
Vivid
got a top
times.
6.
That's
Unfortunately, you got the worst iteration of me, but it is what
all
it is.
good.
Can we
All
add
good.
an F tier for the next
No,
one?
that's fucking bad. That this team's in hell. The last team in D for sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is there a way to put the one in F
So
tier?
what? This one? This one? You're putting in Seattle?
Scouser should be like a tier below all other tiers.
This is also D. Wow, I've been on some just really good teams.
Okay, all right. We're working it up though right now. All right,
LAT is
LAT
S, obviously.
S. Okay, Prophecy.
Also
Ooh,
D. We lasted literally half an event.
Okay.
We didn't
Now,
qualify
Team
for the league.
Envy. This
Now we
was
went to
you,
Envy.
Aqua. This was Looney,
Danny.
right? Not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is me, Danny, and Cap.
Okay, where are you putting this
For
one?
me, Danny, Cap, Yuli, B. This is B.
B.
We were a good
Okay.
top 6 team.
Elevate. AW
I'll
as well,
go-
right?
Yeah, I only have one event to go on though, but we were good. We got third. I'll put A. I think that team was really good.
Okay. Rise?
This one's tough. Our Rise team was fucking good, dude.
Black Ops 3.
Were we better than we were in IW? Because I think one of these is S. I just don't know which one it would be. What do you guys think?
Early Black Ops
IW or
3.
Black Ops 3. I don't know. I feel like
Respawn,
So
Respawn S,
what's so
or
what's
insane
so
in
what's
Respawn.
so tough is that Black Ops 3 just didn't have a lot of events, right? So
Yeah.
like I feel like maybe you just played with your IW team on LAN more, so maybe that's
Maybe.
why.
Because
I
we
think
were
they should
really
be-
good.
I
at
think they should be in the
Respawn.
same tier.
I think A for both. I think we'll do A,
for both?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think we were quite S. We were winning events, but I don't think we were quite S.
Okay, so Luminosity also in A
Luminosity
tier.
Yeah, we'll do A tier as well. Just
Okay.
F. Below
F.
hell. In hell.
Yeah.
Just the off the
We
screen.
need an F tier for.
Nah,
some
we
of these.
could put that team in B. We were just horrible at S&D. We were like
You guys are-
actually the best hardpoint team, but we were just
It-
shit at S&D.
I mean, that is just
It's just my
what
life.
there was a 3-way tie, right?
Yeah.
2-1 3-way tie. That's
Yep.
or that's just unlucky. 100 Thieves.
That's S.
Nice. Okay.
Nice. Not
I
bad.
like
a lot
it.
of Ds.
That's pretty,
Fuck
that's
yeah.
pretty close to how I in my head it was sort of like your two teams that you won a bunch with, and then like that's sort of you and Slack, LG, Rise, all those kind of years I have lumped together. Like the years where you might win a search, and if you won a couple searches, you win the event. Like I kind of had all that like lumped together in my head.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. I have some, but just because we touched on your career before the season started, I just have a couple of MW2 questions. This was a big deal. You guys broke the champs curse, and you kind of touched on it. How'd that
I
feel?
didn't know it was still a thing. I honestly
like-
didn't even realize.
Did
I
you
don't know
guys
why
even
it was
realize
big.
that was still a thing? Did you guys talk about that at all?
I definitely did because when
Yeah.
we got second at Major 2, which by the way, no one talks about. Everyone's like, oh, we were just shit the whole year, or like we were average the whole year. And
No, I thought that's when
we
you
got
guys
first.
were.
Bro, we
gonna go
got
off.
second at an event too. Like we had a good
Yeah.
season. But yeah, we got second, and I was like, oh fuck. Like,
Well, that was Boston, right?
yeah, that was Boston.
Clint, what did I tell you? Remember they lost the first round? I remember telling him, I was like, because I remember, I think I
lost to
watched
Optic.
it, but I was
Well-
like, they were so close. Like you could just tell you guys were like just watching the arrows. Like they were just a couple of plays, and I was like, Clint, watch them go on a run. And I think you guys, yeah, that's when you guys did. You didn't win, but
Loser
yeah,
bracket king. But I was definitely thinking about it after that event. I was like, damn, Champs Curse might actually be real. And then we just fucking slammed it Major 4. So yeah, it feels great. I mean, we're the first team to ever do it. And it's like that's just like the thing that always happens is like the team It's like the Madden cover curse. It's like you win it and then you're just fucked. Like at Vanguard FaZe, they got second 80 times. So I mean, like being the first team to ever do it is definitely a
Wow,
cool
we never
feeling.
even talked about that. I didn't even think of the champs curse. Yeah.
I kind of just, I'm usually like pretty good at keeping up with just from casting, like keeping up with big overall like storyline type stuff. But I just like forgot. I like, thought that was dumb. I don't know why. Like when one of them said it in the interview afterwards, I was like, oh
Yeah.
I was in kind of a haze that day because we also had that incredible champs intro I had to do.
Wow, that might have been. No, can I change my most embarrassing moment from the double donuts to getting introed by Clint at Major 4 for finals? I think that might have been it.
Bro, they
was
said
bad,
to me,
bro.
They said to me what they wanted to
bad.
do, and I thought it was going to be sort of like I guess I pictured it in my head, like I'd sort of say they just like pan across you guys is sort of how.
Yeah, that would
like
make
just
sense.
do like a live pan, not like change shot ISO, change shot ISO.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to just be, even maybe if they stopped like a half second, it was still like a live pan of it. Is how I viewed it. And then when they were actually doing it, I was like, oh my fucking God. I remember Ethan like messaged me. He was like, so what happened? I was like, that was like so fucking bad. It was amazing. It was bad. It was so horrible. It was incredible.
Yeah, no, it was so bad to the point where it became good.
Yeah. Like I think I tweeted afterwards, like, give me the fucking Emmy or something.
That might have actually been the most embarrassing bar in the
dude. When you guys started giggling, dude, I was like, I don't even know how I got through it all. I don't even know how I got through it all.
We're waiting for the fake fans behind the cameras.
It created some incredible moments, though. We'll always have that to look back on. So
that's
cool. I do want to know. So Vanguard, right? You guys figured it out, and I thought like you guys figured it out, like Major 2, Major 3, or season or stage 3 kind of happened. I know Draws, like he kind of had a really rough stage, but then you guys win Major 4. I guess why do you think your team can ever find the consistency in this title? Because this is what you guys were, a system team, right? That's always what you guys have been about.
Yeah.
Just being smarter than teams, obviously skills and same, but just knowing the game better, especially Respawn.
Was it just the title so we could retire? Like
exactly. I was sandbagging.
Yeah.
I think it was a combination of things. The title playing a part. I think that we were never consistent in a game mode. I was talking about this yesterday, bro. We had like one of the best hardpoint win rates. I think it was like 3rd or 4th. Like we were in the top tier of hardpoint, but I'm convinced we were shit. We were so bad at hardpoint. But I don't know where all of the wins came from because every game there was like I think there's like a scoreboard of it on Reddit. It's like the percentage of maps won by X amount of points, and between 1 and 25 is like 40% of our hardpoint wins for the season. So we were like insane in the clutch. Don't get me wrong, but we were never god tier in hardpoint. So like I think that stat is super conflated. I don't think we got good at S&D until like the very tail end of the season. I think we were nuts at S&D at the very, very end. We lost 2 game 5s at champs, which is just fucking AIDS, but. I think we were really good at S&D at the tail end of the season, but I just don't think we ever put it together in the way that we need to in order to be a consistent team like New York was. They were good across the board in every game mode. I think we were lights out in control all season, but that's only one map of 5. But there's just, like you said, we're a system team, and I think that we have a perfectionist mindset, and we approach practice every day to like literally fine tune everything about our game. So it's very easy to get lost in
do too
the monotony a little bit. Yeah, exactly. And I think like there were teams that were much more simple than we were, that were better than we were at hardpoint. Like Optic, for example, like they were literally just running around shitting on teams. Like I don't know if you guys know about their scrim stats, like the things that have been going around in clips.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you next because you had a clip of it. You said they beat you in 44 straight scrim maps.
I think 44 was probably hyperbole, but there was a moment from the time that they picked up Dan. We scrimmed them the day after. We like beat them pretty easily. I think we like 7-1 them or something. That scrim to the moment of scrimming at champs, I think we didn't beat them in a map.
Well, okay, then why'd you guys always beat them in matches?
I mean, if you want my truthful answer, I don't think that their subs were like as impactful online to like compared to where we were at, because like obviously when you're online, you're not really concerned with like tracking people and like being on top of things as much, and you're more so worried about like why didn't we break this fucking hill. And then when I think I got to events, like that gear kicked in for like comms and things like that. So like Optic's success was entirely on like Kyler and Ant like running around just causing chaos, catching timings, like shitting on people, just pure chaos. Which it's an unreal play style because being consistent in that specific play style is almost impossible. And the fact that they kept it going for as long as they did, fucking hats off, because that was unbelievable way to play COD. Like,
well, it sounds like it almost tricked them into it. Like,
it was, bro, they were 30, they were 33-12 every fucking map. It was an unbelievable way to like play against them, just feeling like that. It was horrible. So when we went to events, obviously we had a chip on our shoulder because we're like, we're a LAN team. These guys shit on us online all the time, which we were a LAN team, to be fair. But I think we got to events and I just went into literally overdrive. Like, Ant is here, Kyler is here, Ant is here, Kyler is here, Ant is here, Kyler is here, and we just like never got thrown into the cycle of getting just shit on by them. So I think like that was a large part of it. I think their subs were just like a major key to their success. And when you're online scrimming, it feels a lot harder to keep track of things than when you're at events because you're going 120. But not to shit, like I'm not calling them onliners, but I mean that's just like how it was. And
I mean, the Optic's been the best online team since I can remember, right? I mean,
I can't say enough good things about those two though, like Kyler and Ant, dude. Like that's like being able to thrive in pure pandemonium on the map is the most commendable thing because it is the least consistent way to win, and they were doing it consistently. It was fucking unbelievable to play against.
Well, I figured you guys were getting slammed because like I didn't know that they still weren't scrimming FaZe. Like I remember when I first heard
they only started scrimming them for like a week.
Yeah, when Crowder first told me that like years ago, I was like, this is the most like childish. It sounds so stupid when I first like heard about it, and then like years go by and I heard like they're gonna scrim like, and I'm like, wait, you told me they haven't scrimmed this whole time. I couldn't believe it like went on that long. Like that was just
there was I think
wild to me.
From what I heard, it was just like the way like where they're located. You either play in Atlanta or you either play in Texas. There's no like server for them to play on. So they thought that the practice was just shit on both sides. So I just think they agreed to not play each other. But yeah, they were just literally bending us over backwards online for like months. And I don't even think that was like an us specific thing either. I think they were like,
no, I've heard everybody.
I think Brandon said, or someone said that they were like 75 in like 2 in maps, like Cold War FaZe style 44 map win streak type shit. Because if you guys remember that when FaZe's scrim records got leaked in Cold War, they had won like 45 consecutive scrim maps or something insane. But it's on that level of like online dominance this season.
You feel like that hurts though? Like
it can, because like you're just getting positive reinforcement on maybe not, like I said, like the thriving amongst the chaos and not understanding the game, as opposed to just like literally just out talenting people. You could definitely get trapped in like a positive reinforcement cycle for sure.
Bad habits form, I'm sure, because it's like it's always tough. I think like there are probably certain types of people that even when you're smoking people can like break down like you did this wrong, you did this wrong.
That's all Ken and Cap do. We'll win maps and we'll win maps by 120, and they'll look over at us like, what the fuck was that P4? Yeah. And I'm like,
it's easy, I think, for a coach to do that, but like it's very, I think, difficult for a player probably to, when you're plus 20, not just be like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, it's tough. Ken, that's the reason I love playing with Ken so much, is because he is the most, like, Ken is probably the best COD mind that I've ever played with. Like, legitimately, he might be the best COD mind that I've ever teamed with. That guy has an unbelievable knack for figuring out things that happen in maps. Like, there will be situations that I'm involved in that I'm like, that I completely brush over, and he'll bring it up after the map, and he's like, yo, right, he'll be like in a corner playing like a 2-piece, letting someone run by, but like I'm doing something on the other side of the map that he can't even see because the mini map is this big, and he's like, yo, Sam, what happened right here? Because this was weird. And I'm like, oh yeah, no, it's just like, bro, he has an unreal knack for just improving, and I don't understand the way that it looks at COD. It's fucking unbelievable.
It's hilarious. Just to give people, like, I'll go to the back and watch you guys scrims like before LAN events and stuff. Like, you guys will literally finish a map, and I just laugh because Kenny, like, you guys have your recordings and your YouTube streams so you can go back and talk about things. Map will end, and Ken just like alt tab. He just alt tabs immediately. Doesn't look at the scoreboard. Doesn't care about anything. It's like, guys, like, yo, guys, 308, P3. What the fuck happened here? And I crack up because there's no one else like this. It's like good map. Yo, I may have just, I got outslayed.
It's literally just like
mindset, dude. It's unreal.
it's a slippery slope because you can definitely tumble down and then everything is going wrong. And it's very hard to figure out like where your problems actually lie. But when you're doing well, there's no one in the game. There's no team in the game in that system that we were playing in that would ever fuck with us when we were playing well. That's why like our highs were just like a level above everybody. Because like it's just perfectionist COD, and that's just the way that Cap and Ken like ran the camp, and it's just fucking unbelievable.
Fortunately, you guys have had these titles the last 4 years. Like,
I think
it's tough to make a consistent system in some of these games.
There's multiple systems. It's just that's the one that we were under. There's a lot of different ways to win now, which is contrary to how it used to be.
See, I think you guys were. I think your mindset like works for almost anything as long as it's consistent in the sense of like even if the spawns were bad, if they're consistent, like you guys would figure it out. Like Vanguard, for example, this year it was just
everywhere, all the time.
Sometimes just flip a fucking coin. Like you literally, I don't care how many times you played a situation, you might see a spawn you've never seen before, and if that's happening, like it was just very. It's probably one of the most reactive CODs we've ever had versus like prepping and predictive like COD. Like you just see stuff, I'd be like.
We're straying further away.
How do you prepare? Like the number of times that Joe said something like, "Oh, how the hell are they supposed to read that?" Like while we're always casting, he goes, "I don't know how they're going." Like I think Slasher like did read it one time. He goes, "How the fuck did he just read that spot?" Because it just doesn't make like any sense. So that's got to be tough with how you guys want to play. Because I'm sure it's just like
because there's
your head even more like
stuff like that just leads to conversations where it's like we just got held by the game. And then
is there a way to prevent it? Is there a way to not do that?
Yeah.
Can we force it, or how do we look out for it? It's just like. Good luck.
The fact you guys figured out that the fact you guys got to the point you were in Vanguard though, like because that's what we thought.
That came down to a science, man.
Yeah, we thought this we thought what actually occurred this year was sort of what Vanguard was for a while in the sense of like this is bad.
Like
once
got more random.
Once you guys like figured it out and we watched you guys in the minimap, it's like goddamn, like, this is holy shit. It's
we actually had that. We had that game down to a science.
But this year was just. Obviously New York was insane. I'm not trying to take anything away from anyone, but there were just some.
There are moments,
dude. There were moments where it's just like, what?
The fact they were as good as they were at Hotel, because Hotel had the worst ones. It was actually unbelievable.
I was just laughing about this the other day. Hotel was secretly the worst goddamn map.
Hotel was the worst respawn map that we played last year.
Bro, I know.
I agree. 100%.
It's actually crazy because I think it was like the best map to watch. Right, and it probably felt like the best one to play, but then you go back.
Visually, it looks like it should be really good. Like it looks like it should make sense.
It was actually the worst respawn map.
I agree. Just texted about this last week, bro. Like we were just like, laughing. Horrible.
No, I had this realization. What was it? Major 5? It was Major 5 in the green room with like the way New York and Toronto play. They played so much, and I think I was like just joking, like because Control. If you all die, you lost, right? Like you pretty much lost. So. There was no recovery. Hardpoint.
You spawn
some everywhere. Of the hardpoints. You spawn at P1. You spawned everywhere. P5. You spawned everywhere. There was no way to read things. I was like, how do you play this? You can't play it. Like
there's a. Like, I don't know. That's the map that we found ourselves the most consistent. Like we went back to see things that happen. We're like, what do we do about this? Like, how do we read this? Like, there's a million different like P4. There's like 6 different back spawns, and you have to stand in like different places to block them, and like where your teammates are. There's just like. That map was shit.
There's time you'd watch 2 people spawn, no positioning had changed. 1 second change of the clock. One person spawned out, one person got a squad spawn, and I'm like,
exactly. Or like you'll just get like a random mid map spawn in Control to like flood A to stop a cap, and there's like a timing that you don't know about. It's just like I don't know. Hotel's the worst respawn map, like by far.
I'd be
all other conversation. Hydro's the best. Just putting it out there.
Yeah, well, it did play the best. Like it made the most sense. You just swam.
If it wasn't for the water.
The water gets annoying if like the person that's in the water is like fucking
really a dolphin.
Yeah, like that's when it gets annoying. But like the water is gonna lead to the same place depending on what hill it is. Like you're gonna go to eventually where you need to go. It's not really that annoying unless the person in the water again is like Paco or Shotzi who's just like running around.
Nade's clip was so good though.
Oh yeah, when Ken got shot in the back.
Him watching you guys at raging, I was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always tough. All right, let's move on. Let's do a little Rostermania talk.
Go.
I think the way I want to start off with this, obviously there's a lot of talk at the top. FaZe, Optic, Ultra, we'll get into that. Do you think there's anyone potentially flying like under the radar?
Any
maybe a specific player or team that like if you maybe were a free agent, you'd be maybe sliding in their DMs type thing?
I think Dan is like once you remove yourself from, like you said, the top four. Like I talked about it on stream the other
It's
day.
a mess outside of the top four.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
It's a car accident.
It is.
There is so many possibilities and rosters and just a million different things. So I think this offseason is going to last a while, just because of how many decisions actually have to be made.
Can I ask you one question quick that is a reference to this? I wanted to ask you early in the episode, if you don't mind. Like, I guess when it comes to this, like when you were planning to retire, like how much did you think about like, oh, am I fucking over my boys? Like, am I fucking over?
It was a
team?
large.
Like,
I thought about it a lot because like I'm not a selfish person inherently, but this was a very selfish decision. So it was very hard for me to like not think about my teammates. Similarly, like I said, I wouldn't keep playing even if I was shit, even if we were really, really good. I wouldn't keep playing. So it's like it was the most selfish decision that I've ever had to make. So naturally, my teammates are going to be my first thought. But I think I was okay with the decision because of how good I know that they are in the offers.
You knew they figure it out. You knew they figure it out.
Exactly. I'm not putting them in a situation where it's like I'm hoeing them for like 2 years. You know what I mean? Like I'm not putting them on a shit roster and ruining like time that they have as a professional. Like I know these guys are going to get phenomenal offers, and the rumors that I've heard they are. So I'm okay with that.
Okay, I was curious, like how big of it.
Yeah,
I figured it would have to be like.
If I knew that I was going to put them in like actually bad scenarios, then it would have been a much harder decision of mine. But since I've obviously my teammates are fucking unbelievable, it made the decision a little bit easier.
Okay, well, sorry. Continue with the other question. I just
you're good. To Joe's question, I would probably, just to sum it up, I would say Dan. I think that Dan finding like not a weird, but just a team of two or a team of three with like high upside. So I'm thinking like Dan Slasher is probably like the one that's been going around right now that was like rumored to be on that Boston team. I think that has like unreal upside as an AR duo, because I think Austin's year, I think he was bad place, bad time. I actually think his season was fucking unbelievable in the second half. I did think he had probably like a little bit of a slow start, but I think he was just like in a bad place.
He was really good at the end.
Yeah, he was like their most consistent player for the most part, barring Tyler, obviously. But
yeah, it's just a tough spot because you're the one champ, so you probably know that they're going to change.
Exactly, it's just with how many available free agents there are this year, you literally had to have an MVP level performance and win champs to keep that roster the same. So I'm a huge fan of Austin's year. I think he's obviously an incredible player. So I think him and Dan getting together could be like unreal potential. And then the subs is like where things get really interesting because there are so fucking many. You could go like Ken, Cap, Vivid, Nero, Afro, like Fame. There's just so Kook, Standy. Like there's so many available sub players that you could build a roster, but I don't think you look at any of them, barring like I think like Cap in one, or Kenny in one could be like probably the highest upside. But there's a lot of those players that you put together and you're like maybe good, maybe shit. So it's very hard to build a roster once you remove all of the top four talent. But like I said, I think a team of like Dan, Slasher, Ken, and like one is like probably the next best roster that you're gonna make, in my opinion.
Well, speaking of the top, let's get in. We have a rumored Optic roster, which I know there's been a lot of chatter about. Pred, Strati, Draza, and Dashy is this rumored roster. There we go.
Nice.
I mean, initial thoughts is for me. I mean,
unbelievable.
It's a really strong team.
Yeah.
You give the Optic Pred, which we kind of all figured sooner or later was going to happen.
On Optic for 8 months.
Yeah, pretty much. Shotzi alongside him. Draza joins them as flex player. I think, I mean, a huge pickup for them because not only he's a true flex if there is a 3-sub game, right? He can run that.
That is correct.
One of the few. You have Dashi's man art. I mean, their search probably unbelievable because how much Draza plays.
I think they would be the best S&D team. Even if FaZe were to pick up someone, I actually think that this team would be the best S&D team. Like,
and Pred,
his S&D
had an underrated search.
100%.
Well, I mean,
he do this in entry.
His stretches where he was like ahead of a BZ with like first blood and stuff. So his impact can be unbelievable. But
I just don't think it's talked about because of how prevalent his respawn performances were.
I more think Draws is huge here just because like just when we had him on, and like I'm sure you're familiar, like his just hunger to grind and get better and
it's something that like the Optic brand needs.
Yeah, someone that doesn't give a fuck about anything but like COD and winning. Like it just feels like let you have the circus going on around you when you're with Optic. You just do. And I'm not like trying to take shots at any of the other guys. Just like Draws is kind of different, man. Like he's just kind of psychotic when it comes to like wanting to play the game to get better.
It's like an unhealthy passion for Call of Duty.
And I think he would be a huge pickup for anybody personally. I love Draws. I just think I know he's one of those guys. You probably hate him if he's on the other team, love him if he's on your team type thing. But like any team he's going to be on, he's going to add something massively. I think.
I am a huge, obviously no bias. I'm a huge fan of Zach. I think that team is like probably the most talented team they've had since the Dynasty, just on paper, like looking at the names. I think like the number one thing that probably sticks out to a lot of people is like who's going to call out.
Agreed. Yeah.
I think that's like definitely the number one theme that people have. And I don't have an answer other than like what I think should and could potentially happen with where
someone's got to step up here. Right.
My answer when I was asked this question was Brandon. And the reasoning for that is I think Pred is your ultimate green light superstar. He's joining this team to continue on the path that he was on already. I don't think you're picking him up to make him call out. I think you're picking him up to give you like those 1.2s and 1.3s and be the player that he's been for the last 2 seasons. I don't want Ant to do it because I think Ant's ceiling when he's free flowing, I think is much similar to like when we saw Ender leave the team. Because I think he was IGLing, or he had mentioned that he was IGLing when Ender was on the team. And then Dan came and Shotzzy got infinitely better because Dan just took the reins and allowed Ant to play his game. So I think if you have that pack a punch like 1 and 2 just running around doing whatever the fuck they want to do within means, obviously, that's best case scenario. Zach is another thing. I think he could do it. His comms improved immensely for the 2 years that I was playing with him. In Vanguard, they weren't great. That's why we made the role swap originally, because it was just very hard to have 2 subs who like really weren't calming that well. And I was like trying to do everything to the best of my ability, which is kind of the reason I think Zach should help Brandon in this situation. And I think that Brandon needs to step up because his play style had shifted a bunch. And I've said this a lot, and you guys have probably seen the clips. He is definitely strayed away from that kill whore stigma that he had going into this season. Do I think that is the right move for this specific roster? Yes. In previous rosters, no. I think he should have been kill whoring because he has literally one of the best shots of all time. But that's another conversation. I think with this specific roster, he has to step up to the plate. I think he has to start calling out for them and leading in some capacity. And he has to continue down the path that I think he was going down towards the tail end of the year with the objective mindset and that main AR, like just normalized play style, as opposed to the 1.2s and 1.3s that we're used to with him. I think he is going to be the puzzle piece to make this roster go. And if no one is going to do it, then I think they're going to run into some issues in respawn only, because an S&D Zach will actually tell everyone what to do every round.
That's what I was going to say. His search calls are, yeah.
He did it all year last year for us. He told us what to do, where to throw attacks, everything. So I think S&D, they'll be Unreal. Respawn, that was a long spiel. Apologies, but
that's why you have you on.
Yeah, I think Respawn is going to be on Brandon and Zach for sure.
Yeah, I'm interested to see too, because like obviously I think Shotzzy gets like the sort of superstar role, or talked about that way. And like I just think that's sort of how flashy he is and this and that. But
exactly. His play style definitely conflates that opinion a lot.
But like Vanguard, I would even say, like when Hook was, because Hook, Cold War and MW19, he was the guy. Like especially like he was their star player running around. And this could work really well for Shotzzy because he'll be used to this in a way. Exactly. Like he'll let Pred go and do his thing, and maybe this does open up his comms a bit more, and I'll just go find my weird routes and piss everybody off.
Yeah, I think so for sure.
I'm just sure there's lots of decisions that have to be made because, like, I think FaZe with letting Slasher go and the trio holding is a big thing in this, and I always viewed the FaZe side of it as like, people can disagree with me on this, but like Cell, I guess I think either Cell needs to become more of like a true flex sometimes, or he needs to just be a main AR.
I think it's the exact opposite. I think you should be running a main AR role.
He should be a main AR. So yes, no, I agree. So, but it was either like you try to get like a super hyper, like a scrap at AR, who is like, he's unlike anybody, who just chows fucking everything, plays like a psychopath, or you need to get somebody like a Draza is a good example with this conversation. That just allows Cell to then play main AR, and you kind of get a true flex, and it may solve some of your problems. Now, Cell's still gonna have to get in the objective, but like, it's I mean, I don't know, because that like who goes Optic and who goes to FaZe is this fourth is probably like the biggest thing.
The flex
like,
market is unbelievable right now, and like I think we might bring it up later, but like the Priest rumors are kind of crazy.
Yeah, the Priest stuff too.
Yeah, there are the best five, not even five, the best five available flexes right now are all potential free agents. I don't know what Preston's situation is, but yeah, it's barring a buyout with Scrap and Preston there, the best five flexes in the league are up in the air right now, which is just fucking crazy. So
well, and many are probably happy because they don't have to deal with you now as taking a spot, right? So like it's like as weird as bad as it is for like Austin and like Dan potentially, like at least there's a seat open.
Yeah. That is true.
There's a seat open.
It's just tough because like I think we all kind of assume next year will probably be similar to these past couple where you don't really have like a true flex. More than likely, probably gonna be rocking an AR a lot. But I
hope not. Give me through sub every now and then.
But I think we all think once we get to a Treyarch title, we're probably back to having a third sub in the mix on a lot more maps. So
I think the true flexes are going to be. There's not very many of them. There's only like an actual handful. So I think the role. I hate the term flex. Like it should just be like a second AR for the most part because like there's only been a few games where it actually like means something to be a flex player.
Yeah. Oh no, you're not wrong at all. Like I think Parasite said a couple of years ago, like flex isn't a fucking thing anymore. No. And like. For a lot of it, yeah, it's really not. It's cool when it is, but
I think it was this year. I think it was this year. I used this, even I was using a sub a lot this year, but Zach used a sub on a lot of maps and a lot of like hill situations.
There were certain hill situations, 100%. Yeah, where it would kind of swap.
There was a lot of those this year.
Yeah, that's what Priest kind of talked about in the episode we had him on. Like he definitely pulled it out more than people realized. And
yeah, if you're not always on the POV, it can be tough to tell.
I was using a sub a shit ton this year. It was great.
You had a great time. Subtane. Yep. Another team, one of the top teams we talked about, or we'll talk about, is the Ultra rumor.
I love this team.
Your teammates.
I love
Envoy.
This might be my favorite team coming out of Rostermania.
Potentially taking, I believe, Hasty's spot. So it would be it went from Toronto potentially not having a roster to the main trio of Scrap, Kleenex, and Insight joined alongside Envoy, and it feels like this should be a very good team because I think like
you're just getting Dixie.
How did we go from like rumors Ultra was broke and dropping their whole team to like this?
It's Rostermania, baby. Things change every day, every single day. All right, it doesn't really matter. I mean, listen, I love Kleenex. It just feels like at times he's more of like the entry guy to me. Very quick, right? He's going to take a lot of gunfights, and they need someone like a more slaying sub. I mean, Dylan perfectly fits that role in my mind.
Bro,
someone who can go do his own
perfect fix for this team. Well, not even fix, but the perfect player for this team of three. It's literally perfect in every way.
So then you have Insight in Scrap. Now, I guess the thing is like, I mean, obviously we haven't been following Scrap for long, but if there is someone who needs to run a third sub maybe at some point, I guess it's probably him. I'm sure he can do it.
No, he's a true flex too. He's a sub.
Okay. Yeah. There we go. That's why he's the expert.
Yeah, I mean, I just figured the way he played with attack when I watched him, that he could pull out a fucking sub because he used the attack like it. He was the only AR I saw use attack like it was a sub. Like he did shit. Sam is one of the greatest ARs of all time, but he was doing shit with attack that Sam was not. Like he was kind of psychopath.
Was not doing that this year. That was like very BO4 me.
And he was the only one that you just see him like, why the fuck did he do that? Oh, never mind. He just fucking fried him. So I guess I kind of figured he could. We just hadn't really seen his hands much.
Yeah, no, he's a true flex.
Awesome. I mean, there's a couple of dominoes waiting. The Priest one, it sounded like potentially that was fixed.
That sounds like fake news to me.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, I didn't even put it in here. Yeah. Supposedly his contract was potentially not. They had to figure out a contract extension. You would think the world champions would just get it. Feels like that's the way it's done. We just had him on. He didn't seem worried about it at all. So I imagine New York will be the same.
Yeah, I don't think there's any world where he is not on that roster.
I think the only thing that is if it was like a FaZe type situation, I guess.
That's the only other destination. That's the thing.
The history with them, and we know Crowder loves him, and I could see that being a thing. Like, listen, I think New York is godlike, but it's sort of hard not to bet on the future of the
Dude, whenever the trio is always on the table, whatever your current situation is, you got to think hard.
Yeah, 100%. So, but I agree with you. That team will probably resign. But that's the only thing where I'd be like,
Definitely worth it. They're the only team that could pull him out of that situation.
Yeah.
And that's really all we got right now because things are changing every day. Who knows? Tomorrow there'll probably be another potential roster, and this might be way different. Because outside of the top 4 in the potential Florida team, who the hell knows? It sounds like everyone's all over the place. So we don't know, but we'll try to keep everybody updated. And again, those are just rumor teams. Go ahead, Clint. You got something?
Well, I was just praying like we don't record this, and then shit goes crazy tonight.
Well, if it does,
always the risk
that's
with
life.
these things. But
that's
Rostermania.
I make videos
like stuff starts to happen. I wonder when
I think
I
think amongst the top teams, we'll probably see later this week and early next week, and then after that, who fucking knows?
Yeah, they'd be all year.
Because I think the top teams probably. I mean, they're only sharing like 7 or 8 players, right? Like the only players that are actually moving is just the same. They're just moving around the orgs. So it's like once they kind of start to sign and thing, like people will get put in their boxes. But the bottom 8 teams, fucking good luck.
Yeah, well, we should probably. Like, I'm just thinking of like next week's episode we're gonna record. Like maybe wait till a couple of things pop.
Yeah,
if that even happens.
After that. Yeah.
We'll see. All right, final segment. We just had some fan questions for you, Sam. This first one is from a Doug. Doug wants to know if you could run it back with any roster, but on a different game. What squad and what game?
Any roster on a different game.
Any of your rosters.
Yeah. I would probably take my Hunter T team in Modern Warfare because that was a possibility that we had going into the season. We had like a weird, there's like a Philly like buy-in thing. I don't know who owns that Philly spot.
It was NRG, I think, right?
Something like that. I don't think it was NRG at the time, but there was a world where our entire roster would have gotten bought out, but it didn't end up happening after BO4. So I think that team of Modern Warfare just to see how it would have gone.
That would have been lit. That would have been awesome. Yeah. This next one is from Argus, and I imagine he is a viewer of yours. After watching your only up gameplay, how lucky do you think you got getting into Pro COD? Have you beat it yet, Sam?
No, I have not. It's only down for me. It's not.
I mean, never really known for your movement. Just shooting straight.
No, I'm not. How lucky do I think I got in Pro COD? Pretty lucky. I mean, there's a luck aspect to it. I'm not going to seriously answer this question because
no, you don't have to. You don't have to. I just had to throw it in there. I think there was a couple of these. I think from your.
It's okay.
Your
the majority of them are probably my viewers. It's fine.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Okay, so and then this last one is from Ken. What's one roster you were on that you wish worked out but just didn't?
Seattle and Cold War because we were unironically good at the end of the year.
Was that you, Gunless, Pristini?
Nick. Classic.
Nick.
We were 11-1 on LAN and Hardpoint. Like we were actually good when we got to LAN, but we were just so down bad online that it just didn't matter. That's just like another what if about my career. Like what would have happened? Because the only team to beat us on LAN for the last 2 events was Optic.
So wait, that's the team that beat FaZe, right? They're only finished not in the top 3 in 3 years. Is that squad, right?
Damn, Nicky D curse.
Pretty D.
I love Nicky D.
I was playing Apex with him before I came here and did this.
He's fucking comedy. I don't know what it is. He can say anything. I'm laughing, bro.
I hope he's back in the league, brother. Bring him back.
I would love for Nick to be back. That would make me happy.
Main AR classic.
You are now a content creator again, Sam, or full-time. So where can the people find all of your content?
Octane Sam on everything.
On everything.
I'm Octane on Twitch.
Octane on Twitch. Octane Sam. Everywhere else. Yeah.
That's prime.
Give him.
Well,
we appreciate it. Thank you, brother, for coming on.
Thank you. I know. The fact that we were like the first thing you came on, it's awesome. And as soon as we heard you were retiring, we wanted to get you on just to chat, even though we just had you. Because your career is special, dude. You were, like I said, I think in my tweet to you, like this game doesn't have the highest gun skill or like gun skill gap. It just never has. But like you look different, bro. You always have. So congrats on an amazing career, and you're fucking hot, dude.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you ever want to bullshit about COD, I'm one text away.
Oh yeah, if we ever need to just like fill an episode, like no one's around, I'm just gonna 100% text me. Like, what's up, dude? You want to come hang out with Joe and I, dude? Get a little horny?
Might just be the Merk Maven and Octane podcast here soon. You never know. You never know. A little expansion.
I'm keen. Fuck it.
But that's it. Thank you guys.
Take us out of here. What you got? What you got for us?
Thank you for watching this. Nothing crazy. I guess we're just looking forward to the next step. We have to figure out a guest and figure out what goes on with Rostermania because that'll probably determine a lot. But like in the off season, the plans to kind of continue like we were, get guests on, dive into their career, chat bullshit about COD. But for those of you watching, please give Sam some love. Follow his socials. I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight, Joe. I kind of want a cheeseburger. What are you guys doing for food? I want a cheeseburger.
I'm getting tacos.
Fuck it, I'm getting tacos too.
I'm getting tacos. Sounds good.
Okay, we're gonna go make love to tacos with our mouths. Everyone have a great night.
That's just the best outro that it could have been.